You want to bring him too?
Get him.
Look at that. He's got a nice little spot and everything, huh?
Look at that rug.
Isn't that nice for him?
Oh man, that's like a spa.
How long you had that pup?
Raisin and I have been together now for about 7 years.
Man, I'll tell you, just like my dog when I had my Bertha.
Oh really? Oh yeah, I remember Bertha.
Sure.
That's right.
Yeah, man, they're inseparable, right? She goes everywhere with you, right?
How are you today?
Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you.
All right. How's it going?
Good.
Same old, or?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Jeez. I'm staying at it.
You're amazing, aren't you?
I try. I had to laugh the other day. I was talking with a friend, and he said, you must be getting real old.
Well, we're not getting any younger, are we?
Well, I told him, I said, yeah, but that is marginal. I said, yesterday I was shoveling, and I said I felt really good at the end of the day.
You were shoveling?
I was shoveling. Yeah. I was shoveling.
With a real shovel?
Shoveling.
Oh, geez, Marty.
You know, it's the kind of thing you got to do.
Listen, you are, for people who don't know you, and there's very few people who don't, you're the owner of Wisconsin Gardener.
Yeah.
Let's just talk a little bit about how that all started and everything, your story on why it's called that, the whole...
So I, back in 1970, I guess it was, maybe it was 69, I started working for a guy out in Wisconsin called Earl Coffin. And Earl and I had a wonderful relationship, and I worked for him for about 4.5 years. And along that time, he was looking to retire, and his son, Jim, was taking over. So it was time for me to move on. And so I started Wisconsin Gardener. And I took care of a couple of yards out in Wisconsin, nothing big.
Did he have the name though?
No.
Was it his name? You started it.
I just made it up.
Okay.
And got it going.
Okay.
And in the winter, in 73, it was pretty tough in Nantucket. And my brother called me up and said, come on down to Houston. He goes, we're making money here. So he was down there working as a drywaller for the unions. And so I went down to Houston, and I had, a great time being in Houston for the winter. But the whole time I was waiting to get back to Nantucket. So it was February. I'm driving down through a little town in Bastrop, Texas, and there's a 57 Chevy there for sale. So I bought the 57 Chevy pickup, and I'd worked all winter and saved my money. I had 2 shoe boxes full of money, and I bought 1 lawnmower, 1 rake, 1 shovel, and I drove all the way back to Nantucket and stopped in Rochester, New York, where my family lived, and then I came to Nantucket here and did the official starting of the business.
You knew you were going to kick it up a bit.
Well, I said to myself, I'll do that for 5 to 10 years. I try
that's
to
the way to look at it. That's always a good idea for any business. You got to give it 5 years, don't you?
A simple goal.
Yeah.
And it's not I'm starting today. I'm just going to see what happens. And my parents were supportive, which was nice. They said to me, if you're happy doing this, I think you should keep doing it. And that was really pleasant. And then the other thing,
what did they expect you to be doing something else?
Well, there were a lot of pressure to, as it was said, go to New York and get a real job.
They wanted you to be a white collar guy.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure. They wanted me to do my mathematics somewhere else.
Is that what you studied? Did you go to college?
I did, but I actually wanted to own the Opera House. I loved the Opera House.
You mean before you became Wisconsin Gardener?
Yep.
You wanted that?
I wanted to own the Opera House, so I was going to school. I took accounting and nutrition, and I took cooking, and that's what I wanted to do. But my whole life, my grandfather had a 10-acre farm, the same size as Pumpkin Pond Farm, and I went ahead and he had me working since I was a little boy. I mean, at maybe 5, 7 years old, I was driving a tractor and fixing roads.
Okay.
This was just in my blood.
I gotcha. Then your parents finally said, we got to let him do what he loves doing.
Oh, no, they were always supportive.
Well, always. Even though you didn't do the mathematics thing.
Right. My parents were always sort of like, and especially my mother, wonderful, Lucretia, she said to me, if you're happy, you just keep doing it and have a good time.
Yeah, good.
And how much support can you give to somebody, and how wonderful is that?
Yeah.
So, and she still says that today.
Oh, your mom is still around?
She's still around. I'm actually going to go pick her up this weekend.
Awesome.
Come down for Christmas. She's,
awesome.
We're going to go to Boston, have some fun.
Good.
Together.
Where are you from?
Originally, I'm born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Moved to Rochester, New York, and from Rochester to Wisconsin, to Nantucket.
So Rochester's where you graduated high school? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting.
And I went to RIT there, and really thought great things. But the school of life that I've enjoyed has been one of endless studying. I read every single day about gardening. I mean, 7 days a week, every day I read something. And it's really fun for me because, I'll browse through magazines, which I get quite a few of, and I'll search things out online, and there's so many new plants. I find the whole industry really interesting and fun.
And do you do it because for your customers, or do you do it just because you like plants and growing?
Absolutely a personal passion.
It's personal, yeah.
And that is why I believe I'm successful at it, because I'm engaged, I love what I do, and that is what makes it fun. That's what makes it easy. And I think that when I meet with people, they see that I'm committed, and commitment's not a problem for me. So
how many customers do you have?
80 plus.
Is that a lot for landscapers?
No, I used to have 100 and 120 almost.
Did you?
And I cut back because I wasn't providing the kind of service. I was too busy.
Yeah.
And
now you're one of the bigger landscapers. 80 sounds like a lot.
I think there are guys out there with hundreds. Now.
Do you actually cut lawns too?
As a rule, most people don't hire me for that kind of service.
All right.
Anybody that hires me for flowers.
Yeah,
as a rule.
I see.
And I provide an overall, and everything exterior is my domain. And so I'll take care of the lighting, the irrigation, the lawn, the shrubbery. I'm
going to go up here for a little bit and then come back to your pond.
Okay.
Pumpkin pond. I want to go in there and talk to you about it.
And so I have a lot of time spent doing topiary work and pruning, and I've always really, really enjoyed that.
Are most of your businesses in Wisconsin because of the name? Is that
it definitely started out that way. I stayed in Wisconsin. I think of it as a funny story, but we were in Wisconsin one day working, and we would sit at lunch at the circle, right at the flagpole there on the bench, where Iski sat, and everybody would gather there at noontime, and people would come to the post office. It was the center of action for 30 minutes.
Right,
we all had a 30-minute lunchtime.
I'm sure.
So we would end up there, sitting there laughing. So one day, a landscaper came from town out there and pulls up in his truck. And we're looking at him wondering, what the hell is he doing out here? Why is he in Wisconsin? And so the old man came to pick me up, and we were talking, and he knew the landscaper from town, and he said to him, "What are you doing out here?" And he goes, "Working." And the old man says to him, "Did you bring your union card? Because you need one of those in Wisconsin."
Oh boy.
And the guy goes, "I don't need a union card out here. The people in Wisconsin asked me to come here." And we looked at each other and we said, "Are you sure they were from Wisconsin and they asked you to come here?" And so we're jokingly throwing things back and forth. And the old man looks at him and he says, you know, if you come to Sconset, I'm going to come to town. And I'll come right to the cliff where you live.
He knew who he was.
Oh yeah. And
So
the old timer says to us, he goes, well, as you can see, I'm already here. And I said to him, you do know I'll be in your backyard. And he looked at me and he said, he goes, you I'll see, but the old timer there with you, he ain't going to go to town for no reason.
Right.
It was a funny conversation. We were all laughing the whole time. But later in the day, we had this conversation about how it was a change.
Yeah.
Because somebody had come all the way to Sconset to do, to mow a lawn.
Gosh.
And